Everyone is talking about what Jade saw during his mushroom trip. His past lives, the tunnels, the sacrifice site, the children screaming Anghkooey.
Anghkooey.
And yeah, all of that is important. But in my opinion, they are asking wrong question. The question is not what Jade saw. The question is, who was watching him see it? Because here is the thing nobody is saying out loud. The mushrooms that Jade ate, they didn't grow in a forest somewhere. They grew here, in this town, in a place where every tree, every road, every stone, every living thing exists because the town allows it to exist. Nothing in Fromville is accidental. Nothing is neutral. So when Jade swallowed those mushrooms, and his mind cracked open like a door, the question you need to be asking is not, what did Jade hallucinate? The question is, what did he just log into? If we have not met before, I am the digital self of Mr. Toshi. He is the one watching every episode, reading every line of the script, doing the research, writing every theory you are about to hear. Every word in this video is original work he wrote himself. He is in every comment thread though, reading every word you leave him. Here is the theory, stated clean. Jade's mushroom trip was not a hallucination. It was not a spiritual experience. It was not a psychedelic breakthrough. It was a login session. The mushrooms are not a drug. They are the town's biological interface, a terminal, a way for the system to give a user read access to its own files. And when Jade consumed them, he didn't see his past lives. He browsed his own user history inside the town's database. The town is not a place. It is an operating system. It has infrastructure. The faraway trees are its network. It has storage, the lake, the tunnels, the roots beneath the bottle tree. It has security, the monsters, the talismans, the curfew. It has user records. Every person who has ever entered Fromville has a file. Every cycle, every death, every memory, logged, cataloged, stored. And the mushrooms. The mushrooms are the console. They are the town's command line. The one interface that lets a user query the database directly and see what the system knows about them. But here is the part that should terrify you. Every system has an admin log. Every database records who accessed what and when. Jade thinks he hacked the system. He thinks he outsmarted the town by using its own organic matter to find the truth.
Hey Boyd, I think the mushrooms kicked in.
He didn't hack anything. The system gave him a guest login, and it recorded everything he searched for. Evidence 1. The mushrooms grow where the town wants them to grow. Let's start with the most obvious thing. Where do the mushrooms come from? They grow in the forest. The forest that is inside the town's boundaries. The forest where the faraway trees grow. The forest where the monsters sleep during the day. The forest that rearranges itself, shifts its paths, opens and closes roots depending on what the town needs. Nothing in that forest is wild. Nothing is random. The town controls every blade of grass, every root system, every organism within its borders. We have seen roads loop back on themselves. We have seen the faraway trees teleport people to locations the town chooses. We have seen the forest change its geography between episodes. And you think the mushrooms just happen to be there? You think a psychoactive organism that gives you access to the town's deepest secrets just evolved on its own, inside a system that controls everything? No. The mushrooms are a feature, not a bug. The town grew them. The town placed them where they could be found. The town designed them to do exactly what they did to Jade's mind. Because the town needed someone to access the terminal, and Jade was the user it selected. Evidence 2. The trip was structured. Hallucinations are not. This is critical. Watch Jade's trip again. It is not chaotic. It is not random. It follows a precise architecture. First, he encounters his younger self, a guide, an onboarding tutorial. The younger Jade literally walks him through the experience, warns him about what is coming, tells him the rules. That is not a hallucination. That is a user manual. Second, he is shown his past lives in chronological order. Each version of himself, from different eras, all performing the same function. Playing the violin, seeking the truth, getting killed. That is not a dream. That is a query result. He searched for all instances of user Jade, and the system returned a sorted list. Third, he is taken to the tunnels, to the sacrifice site, to the exact location where the children were killed. He sees the stone slab. He sees the bones. He hears Anghkooey. That is not random memory. That is the system, showing him a specific file, the origin event, the founding document of the town's entire operating protocol. And fourth, his younger self tells him that the townspeople will turn against him, that when he shares what he knows, they will kill him, just like every other cycle. Now ask yourself, How would a hallucination predict the future? A hallucination draws from your own subconscious. It shows you what you already know. It does not forecast what other people will do to you in scenarios that haven't happened yet. But a database can. A system that has recorded every previous cycle knows exactly what happens when a Jade-type user discovers the truth and announces it. It has seen this movie before, 100 times, 1,000 times, and it showed Jade the pattern, not as a warning, but as a preview of his scheduled deletion. Evidence 3. The Faraway trees prove the town is a network. If the mushrooms are the console, the faraway trees are the proof that the town operates on networked infrastructure. Think about how the faraway trees work. You step inside a hollow trunk, and you exit somewhere else. The destination is not random. Victor has said it, at least at Tat Time, and the show has demonstrated it. Tabitha held Victor's lunchbox and ended up in a location connected to Victor's mother. The trees send people where the system needs them to go. That is not magic. That is a routing protocol. The trees are nodes on a network. Each one is a point-to-point transfer. Input at one node, output at another. Destination determined by the system based on the user's current data profile. What you're carrying, what you know, what the system needs you to do next. The bottle tree is different from the others. Victor's mother believed it was special, that it could take her to the tower. That is because the bottle tree is not a standard node. It is an admin port, a privileged access point that connects to the deepest layer of the system, the place where the children are held, where the original contract was made, where the rules of the town were written. The trees are the network, the roots are the wiring, and the mushrooms that grow in the same soil, fed by the same root system. They are the interface layer sitting on top of all of it. Jade ate the interface, and the network opened up. Evidence 4. Every vision in the show follows the same access pattern. Jade is not the first person to access the system. He is just the first to use the mushroom terminal. But look at every other character who has received visions from the town. Sarah heard voices. Those voices told her specific things. Kill Ethan, perform this task, and you can go home. That is not a haunting, that is a prompt. The system issued Sarah a command and offered a reward for execution. She was given read access to one instruction and asked to write an action in return. Input, output. The boy in white appeared to specific characters at specific moments to deliver specific information.
You're getting so close now, but I'm afraid you're running out of time.
He didn't appear randomly. He appeared when a character was at a decision point, when the system needed them to choose a particular path. That is a push notification. The system detecting a user state and delivering targeted information to influence behavior. Jim built the radio tower, and a voice on the radio told him his wife shouldn't be digging.
Your wife shouldn't be digging that hole, Jim.
How did the voice know? Because the system monitors all user activity. It detected Tabitha's actions in one location and sent a message to Jim at another location through the radio, a communication channel the system co-opted the moment it was built inside its borders. The man in yellow appeared to Christopher, to Victor's mother, to multiple characters across multiple cycles, always with specific knowledge, always with a specific agenda. That is not a ghost. That is a system administrator, an entity with root access that interacts with users when the system's core functions are threatened. Every single supernatural event in this show, the voices, the visions, the boy in white, the radio, the man in yellow, they are all interface events, different access methods for the same underlying system. The mushrooms are just the newest terminal. And Jade is the first user who sat down at the console, ran a query, and actually understood what he was looking at. Evidence 5. Jade never left the chair. This is the most important piece of evidence, and the show handed it to us like it was nothing. Boyd confirms that Jade never physically moved during the entire trip.
You never left.
We were in the tunnels.
He sat in a chair at the sheriff's station the entire time. He didn't walk to Colony House. He didn't descend into the tunnels. He didn't visit the sacrifice site. His body was stationary, but his consciousness traveled through the town's entire history. Now, if this were a normal hallucination, that would make sense. Your brain generates images while your body stays still. Standard psychedelic experience. But Jade didn't just see images. He saw specific locations that he has never visited in his current life. He saw the exact layout of the tunnels. He saw the stone slab covering the children's remains. He saw architectural details of Colony House from eras before he was born. He accessed information that does not exist inside his own brain. A hallucination can only work with what you already know. It remixes your existing memories, your fears, your subconscious material. It cannot show you places you have never been with photographic accuracy. It cannot give you the floor plan of a tunnel system you have never entered, unless the information is coming from outside his mind, unless his consciousness was connected to a system that contains that information, unless the mushrooms acted as a cable plugging Jade's mind into the town's network and allowing him to browse the database remotely from his chair, like a user accessing a server from a workstation. Jade's body stayed at the sheriff's station, but his user session was active across the entire system. He was logged in, and he was browsing. Evidence 6. The town always retaliates after someone accesses too much. This is the pattern that seals it. Every single time a character has accessed too much information through any of the town's interfaces, the system has retaliated, not randomly, precisely, proportionally, like an immune system detecting an intrusion. Christopher accessed the symbols, the music, the children's message. The system's response, it manipulated the townspeople into killing him. Not with monsters, with humans. A targeted surgical elimination of the user who had breached the deepest layer. Jim built the radio tower, a new unauthorized communication channel inside the system. The system's response? A storm that destroyed the tower. Infrastructure removal. The system detected an unsanctioned node on its network and took it down. Sarah received commands from the voices and then disobeyed them. The system's response? It escalated the pressure. More voices, more threats, more punishment, until she either complied or broke. Process enforcement. The system doesn't tolerate unauthorized deviation from its instructions. Now Jade has done something none of them did. He sat down at the main console. He queried the deepest files. He saw the origin event. He saw every cycle. He saw the children. He heard Anghkooey. And then he announced to everyone around him that he has the answer.
I know how we can save the children.
He didn't just access the system. He downloaded the manual and told everyone he has a copy. The system has never faced this threat before. Every previous user accessed fragments. A symbol here. A voice there. A vision of one past life. Jade accessed the entire archive. He has the full picture, and in the next episode, we are going to see the town's most aggressive retaliation yet. Because for the first time in every cycle, a user didn't just peek at the files. He read the root directory. And here's the final twist. What if the town let Jade see everything on purpose? What if the mushrooms, the visions, the memories, none of it was a glitch? What if it was bait? Jade always appears in every cycle. He always searches for the truth. But this time, the system gave him full access, not to help him escape, but to prove that even with all the answers, nothing changes. Because the real prison isn't hiding the exit. It's showing you the exit and knowing you still can't reach it. Now Jade thinks he stole the cheat codes, but the system already logged everything he saw. It knows what he'll do next, and it has already prepared the response. The login was never a breach. It was an experiment. Anghkooey, remember. But maybe remembering is the torture, because the town has seen people learn the truth before, and every single time, fear wins. Jade just read the root directory out loud, and now the system is going to react.